What is the primary function of the last paragraph? The last paragraph has a sum total of how many sentences? Does anyone know?
1, 2.
Thankfully, it has more than one. It has 2 sentences. That's it. It's a crazy paragraph. This is how they write. Now, the first sentence says what? The evidence does not therefore support the claim that the notion of innate talent must be invoked. In other words, innate talent does not have to explain people's success, right? Does that mean that innate talent does not explain their success? No, it just doesn't have to explain it. So there might be something else. There might be innate talent. We don't know. That's sentence 1. What's sentence 2? Sentence 2.
That interest makes them work harder.
Yes, that maybe the real issue we need to focus on here is interest, because interest leads to time or investment, right? Intense training. And since that seems to be a significant factor in their success, maybe the real key to their success is interest, which does actually seem like something that's a little bit innate. It's not an innate talent as much as it's an innate, like, motivation, right? So maybe it does all come back to innateness after all. You don't have to be an awesome chess player, but you have to be really interested in being an awesome chess player. Those are the 2 ideas. What answers were we debating in 15? C and E. Okay, C. It recapitulates? Interesting. The evidence, I was just like, I guess that means just restates it. The evidence against the supposed heritability of outstanding talent and advocates a particular direction to be taken in the future. Wait, what direction should it be? Should it take?
That interest is what is like the key.
Okay. So motivational factors are more likely to be effective predictors of superior performance than is innate talent. Is it advocating? Is it advocating for this? Or is it just observing this? I think advocate is a pretty strong word.
But I feel like by just proving, by saying that one thing isn't not necessarily wrong, but like basically not sufficient, it is advocating for this other point.
It is advocating for that idea, but then it says advocates a particular direction to be taken in future research on this topic.
So it's like
That's a very specific, like, it's one thing to say, hey, I believe this idea is true. It's another to say, I believe this idea is true, and therefore we should pursue it in terms of research, right? Like, I think there's evidence in this passage. This last sentence is really long, and it starts with that famous word, sense. So it's providing evidence for the claim that motivation is probably important. But it doesn't say anything about research. It's just more like something we're inferring from reading that. We're like, oh, well, then you should look into this, right? It's a natural implication, but it's not something that was actually advocated for. Okay, let's talk about E, though. It draws 2 inferences. Yes, there were 2 sentences, and they were both had evidence and a conclusion. Inferences are just conclusions. Regarding the explanatory, what's the explanatory referring to? That's on line 53. It says the word account. To account for something is to explain something. So that's the explanatory inference.
Does that coincide with include?
Does that coincide with what?
The word include? I guess when I think of account, I just think of include. I'm going to account for you, which means I'm going to include.
Oh, you could, but account also, like in this case, in order to account for the differences between good, in other words, to explain the differences between
Right.
yeah. So in this case, they're using account for explanatory. And then on line 64, right, it says effective predictors. That's the predictive inference. So you have your explanatory inference, you have your predictive inference. So this answer choice, although really wordy and weird, matches. Are we okay with this? Questions on this one? No, we're okay. All right, let's keep going.